What's up, Multiverse? Dr. Dave here. Welcome to the Geek Lounge. So this past weekend we went to MCM Comic Con London. I had an absolutely amazing time, but I did also spend quite a bit of money. But to be perfectly honest with you guys, it was definitely worth it. I added so many signed Funko Pops into the collection. You guys can see some of them are already on display, but don't you worry, we'll be taking closer looks at them today, and I will also be sharing my guest interactions as well. So without any further delay, let's get into it. Alrighty guys, I'm going to start with this one. Ezio from the Assassin's Creed franchise, Assassin's Creed 2 to be more specific, signed by the voice actor Roger Craig Smith. He was actually the second to last guest I saw on the Sunday, but I figured we'd just start with this one because as you can see, well maybe you can't quite see yet, the pop is absolutely battered, guys. I honestly was thinking, yeah, I'm not going to go and get this one signed. Like when Roger was announced, I want to say maybe a month or two ago, I was like, oh man, that's so cool. Because I love Assassin's Creed, and Ezio, in my opinion, was the best assassin. I know a lot of people share that same sentiment. And I was like, I know I have the Ezio pop. Like all of my video game pops are pretty much out of the box. You guys can see them a tiny bit here. There's like Lara Croft, and there's some of the Assassin's Creed ones up there, but yeah, they're mainly out of shot. And I was like, I know I have the box for it though, but it's up in the loft in storage. And like literally maybe 5 days before the con, I actually went to check it. And yeah, I noticed all this damage, particularly this tear in the corner. And I was like, man, yeah, there's no point getting this signed. This is battered. I should have done this when he was first announced. Then I could have maybe picked up a cleaner box, certainly one in a lot better condition. And then literally on the Saturday night when I was still umming and ahhing, because I saw him on the Sunday morning, I was like, you know what? Screw it, I'm going to get this signed. I can always take the window out, pop it in a new one, like it'll give me more time to maybe find a fresher box, because the window, if you guys can see there, I'm not sure if you can tell, it's already kind of coming out down here at the bottom, so I was like, yeah, that's pretty easy. Though Roger, who, if you guys didn't know, he is the voice of Sonic in Sonic Frontiers. His queue was like super busy all weekend. Him, and then sitting next to him was Dave Mitchell, who's the voice of Knuckles from Sonic Frontiers. They were both kind of saying, oh, you should just like keep it as it is. You know, it's a really old pop. It's like box damage. You know, they were like really trying to sell me on it. And I was like, yeah, maybe. But to be honest, I think I am eventually just going to like find one with a better box condition and just do the window swap. As for the quote, you guys should be able to read that there. David Requiescat in pace. That is probably an absolutely awful butchering of a pronunciation. So I do apologize. Of course, the famous quote he says when he does assassinate people. Roger said, do you want me to put your name? And I was like, well, it's kind of like you're assassinating me. And he's like, I know, right? It's a little bit weird. But he says, normally lots of people ask for it. And I was like, you know what? Why not? And I did also add a new Naruto signed Funko Pop to the collection, guys. If you've been watching before, you'll know that Naruto and One Piece are my two joint favourite animes of all time. So I was very, very happy to get this into the collection. He did, of course, voice Deidara. And I went with the quote, true art is an explosion. He signed it in multiple different colours, which was really, really cool. And yeah, just on Roger Craig Smith, I have to say, what a nice guy, man. His like queues were busy all weekend. I know on the Friday when he arrived, he came out and he literally high-fived everyone in the crowd. Some poor kid then kind of collapsed maybe an hour into the con, and he was literally like leapt out from his table. I didn't see it. My brother had to tell me about it. I was actually at Chris Sabat's table, which was like a few tables down from him. And yeah, I was literally with Chris Sabat at the time getting my Funko Pop signed, so I didn't see this, but my brother told me like leapt into action. You know, he really helped the guy out. He got like the MCM staff in, the like paramedics and whatnot to come in and help him. Just such a cool guy, and for someone that had such a big queue, I'd probably say, looking at the numbers and stuff, he was either the second or third, had the second or third biggest lines for the whole weekend. Like for me, Chris Sabat was without question the most busiest, and then I'd say second was a toss-up between him and Robbie Daymond. Yeah, just such a nice guy. We got there like a bit earlier on the Sunday, and he was there immediately. He wasn't the signings were supposed to start at 11 a.m. We were there at 10, pretty much from when the doors opened up, and he was already there, and he said, guys, come straight forward. So yeah, super cool guy, happy to have met him, and yeah, like I said, happy to have got these 2 signed Funko Pops into the collection. Sticking with Naruto, next up we have Ino Yamanaka, signed by the voice actor Colleen O'Shaughnessy. She was actually in town as part of this Sonic Frontiers cast. I mentioned Roger Craig Smith already, who of course voiced Sonic, Dave Mitchell, who voiced Knuckles, and Colleen O'Shaughnessy does actually voice Tails, but she does also voice the character in the movies as well, and I really enjoyed those movies. Yes, the images, especially of Sonic when they first came out before the release of the first movie, were a little bit scary, but I feel they did a really good job in changing those, and both movies were really good fun. I think there is a third one on the way, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it would be silly not to, because I do believe they were pretty successful. Colleen herself, super cool. We chatted to her for a pretty long time. I was kind of like, she was actually the last guest I saw on the Sunday, and her queue wasn't too big by that point, but it then started to build up a little bit after us, but she was just talking to us for such a long time. She was just such a nice, sweet person. She was going on about how frustrating it is voicing Tails, and there aren't too many Tails Funko Pops, and she, I think it was like a Target Con release, like the flocked version. She had to go to a Target in the States, then couldn't get one, and then had to go to another Target, and eventually managed to get one. And she was saying it's just frustrating. She wishes there were like more common Tails out there, so she would just have a lot more to sign. But she was very happy that Ino did finally get a Funko Pop. I got mine signed with a quote, "Mind Transfer Jutsu," and yeah, as I would just love so many more Naruto voice actors to come over. Probably would be my next dream list of them, to be honest. We got some of the actors like Crispin Freeman, who voiced Itachi, my favorite character. I mean, Yuri Lowenthal, who voiced Sasuke, would be absolutely amazing. Just tons. I just want them all to come over. Should say Miley Flanagan, who is of course Naruto herself. She was at MCM Comic Con, but I'd met her previously, so I didn't actually have to get anything signed by her this time. But yeah, her queue was also pretty big, I have to say. And the fourth and final voice actor from that Sonic Frontiers cast was Ryan Bartley, who does voice Sage, but she was also the voice of Komagi in Hunter x Hunter, and I was speaking to both her and her manager, and I was like, man, if Hunter x Hunter was further along, it would definitely be considered up there with the likes of One Piece and Dragon Ball as one of the, or possibly even the greatest anime of all time. Yeah, I freaking love the show, the world building, the characters, everything about it was awesome. But yeah, you know, when you think it started around the same time as One Piece and how much further along One Piece is, it's just crazy. I really hope the anime does come back sooner rather than later. But of course, no, the creator does have those health issues with his back and stuff, and, you know, obviously trying to get the manga further along as well. I just, wish him good health, and hopefully, yeah, Hunter x Hunter can kind of get to a completion point, right? And we can still see much more of the story in the anime form. But yeah, guys, I got her to sign my Komagi Funko Pop. I did actually just peel off the special edition sticker, so she actually had more space for this quote. If it was the Hot Topic one, I probably would have just kept it on there, but yeah, I'm not really a fan of the special edition sticker, especially the old one. And I'd actually seen this online, this kind of color scheme and whatnot, and I just asked, you know, is it possible you could kind of do the quote the same colors? And she was like, yeah, no problem. So we of course got I think it was her final words in the show, actually. Good night, Meruem. It'll be all right. I'll be joining you soon. And yeah, various different colors, the light blue, the green, the whites, the pinks, with that heart and the arrow as well. Oh, and I almost forgot a shogi piece on the side as well. Just very, very cool. But that wasn't the only Funko Pop I got signed by Ryan. She did also voice Makomo in Demon Slayer, so I got my Makomo and Sabito 2-pack signed. I was umming and ahhing, should we go for the single ones or the 2-pack? And to be perfectly honest, I think I prefer the 2-pack, and I just think it will look a lot cooler once it is complete, though I will of course need Max Mittelman to return to the UK. He did voice Sabito. Funnily enough, he actually voiced Meruem as well in Hunter x Hunter, so they've always been connected by these roles. I think there was one other that her manager was telling me where they played opposites as well. I did actually get my Saitama Funko Pop signed by Max Mittelman. He of course voices the main character in One Punch Man. You guys is way off to the side, so you guys can't see it at the moment. So yeah, really hope he does come back so we can complete this 2-pack. But I went with the quote, train until it kills you. Again, she did these really cool color schemes, the purple, the white, the pink, and then the flowers kind of matching the design on the masks as well. Kitsune masks, I think that's what they're called, if memory serves me right. Yeah, she was just so sweet, so nice. Probably, to be honest, and this isn't like throwing shade or anything, she was probably the least talkative, I would say, out of all the guests that I communicated with on the weekend. But to be honest, I saw her right at the end of the day on Saturday. I was tired. I'm pretty sure she was tired. But, you know, at the same time, I think she was really concentrating on trying to make these look as nice as she possibly could. All the different colors, didn't want to mess up. So, yeah, I think that's why she maybe wasn't as talkative. But like I said, we were talking to her manager as well. So he was like piping in with some things here and there. But she was still super cool, super sweet. And it was a pleasure to meet her. And I actually got some other Hunter x Hunter and Demon Slayer Funko Pop signed as well by the very cool, very awesome Robbie Daymond. Guys, I've met a lot of guests at cons, actors, voice actors, wrestlers, probably someone who falls into some other category as well. And I have to say, like, I've never had a negative experience with anyone, luckily enough, but Robbie Daymond may just be the coolest, sweetest guy I've met. I don't know. I'd have to like think about everyone, but I just came away, you know, loving the guy even more than I did so before I actually met him, if that kind of makes sense. More on that in a second though. Let's get through the pop. So we have Crollo here from Hunter x Hunter. We dedicate this Requiem to you. You know, he was respective of like my color choices, but at the same time he was like, look, can I sell you on this? I think it will pop more. I think it will go with this more. And I was like, dude, do whatever. I'm happy with you to like take over and let me know what you think is best. And I have to say, looking at all of these, they came out really, really cool. He did also do some free little doodles on the side here, guys. I mean, check that out. We have the spider, very, very cool, in purple and blue to match the quote and the signature on the front. Here's the Demon Slayer one he signed. If you guys didn't know, he voiced Hateru Haganetsuka in the Demon Slayer dub. I, of course, had to go with the quote, "How dare you snap my precious sword in two." He went with the blues and the pinks. And again, a doodle here on the side with a Nichiren blade. Once again, in those same colors. I was also very happy to add a third signed Jujutsu Kaisen Funko Pop into the collection. He, of course, voices Megumi Fushiguro in the anime of the year. I went with Demon Dogs, Eat It Boy in these color schemes, which I did actually choose. He may have changed them around a little bit. I may have had Demon Dogs, Eat It Boy in yellow, but he signed it in yellow. But you know what? It just really pops. I think his choice was a lot better than mine. And again, we had like a little doodle here on the side. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it kind of like matches the markings here on the Demon Dog, Divine Dog, whatever you want to call them, but I still think really, really cool. And last but certainly not least, we have Kozuki Odin. I got a ton of One Piece Funko Pop signed this past weekend. Don't you guys worry, we'll be getting to those in just a few moments. But this was the really cool thing about Robbie. So he was well, I say he was charging. I don't know who comes up with the costs. Is it him? You know, like, is it the guest? Is it their management team? Is it MCM? Is it a combination of two, a combination of all three? I honestly don't know. But he was basically charging a particular cost for like a longer quote, so I think it was 6 words and more, and then a smaller quote was like 5 words or less, something along those lines anyway. And I think it was like £15 for the small quote and £30 for the long quote. Now, I'd actually really wanted to get this quote, which he did eventually go with. Odin wouldn't be Odin if it wasn't Boyle, but I was like, man, I even said this to him, they did not give you much real estate here on this Funko Pop because of that WonderCon sticker, which, if you guys didn't know, that's not like an official WonderCon release. It was released by Toy Stock Collectibles. It's their exclusive. They released it at WonderCon, so they actually whacked a WonderCon sticker on it. I believe they did the same with the Boruto Momoshiki transformation that was, I think, an SDCC release, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I was like, yeah, they didn't give you enough real estate here on this pop, so I just decided to go, I was born to boil. And before I could say anything, he's already writing this quote. And in my head, I'm like, man, I didn't actually technically pay for this, but it's like he just didn't give a damn. He was there to, you know, essentially bring joy, make people happy. He was super talkative. He was like, oh dude, I cannot wait to get back to Hunter x Hunter. You know, for Odin, he was like, it was a dream to be in One Piece. He didn't think it would ever happen because he's based in LA, whereas One Piece is dubbed, you know, out of Texas. Jujutsu Kaisen, he said, was a dream job as well. Demon Slayer, he said, like, Haganetsuka is definitely the toughest voice. It's really stressful on the vocal cords, but he really enjoys it as well. Yeah, just such an awesome, super cool dude. Made me feel very welcome. He thought he recognized me as well, which is weird. I definitely never met him before, so who knows, maybe he watches the Geek Lounge. I don't know, that would be pretty cool. But yeah, the last interaction with him as well, he had I think he was calling it the Dices. If you guys didn't know, he's heavily involved with Critical Role, which is really, really cool. I don't think he has like a Critical Role character Funko Pop. Yeah, in fact, what am I saying? The Vox Machina Funko Pops are the only ones that exist at this point, hoping for more eventually, especially Mighty Nine. But yeah, you basically had to roll a dice against him, and yeah, I failed miserably. Well, I didn't fail so miserably. I think I got a 11, he rolled a 14, and then my brother got the chance and he failed miserably. He got like 5, and I think Robbie got 17 or something like that. And then he was adding up the scores all across the weekend. We actually screwed it though, because the people were winning 17-15, and then we had those two miserable failures that tied the scores at 17-17. But I think he was then going to add it up all across all 3 days of the weekend and then release the scores. But I honestly haven't checked social media, you know, to find out who actually won, so I better do that. If you were wondering, no actual like kind of doodle or sketch here on the side, but still very, very happy. You know, they added that much longer quote, and the purple and orange color scheme, I just think it looks absolutely awesome. So I know I said we're going to get to the One Piece stuff in just a few minutes. I'm going to ask you guys to wait a few minutes more. I actually want to finish on One Piece, because the final signed thing I have to show you guys is literally the One Piece itself. Well, maybe that's an exaggeration because we don't know what the One Piece is. Let's just say it is definitely the One Piece now in my collection. So we're going to do the Star Wars stuff now and then get to those afterwards. So first up, we have the Mandalorian here, signed by Brendan Wayne. If you guys didn't know, Brendan is actually the man in the suit. Pedro Pascal, of course, does the voice. Yes, he was in the suit a few times, especially when he had to take the helmet off, but more often than not, it is Brendan Wayne. And then it is Lateef Crowder, who does all the stunts in the suit as well. So they're kind of like the three guys who make up the great show, which is The Mandalorian. I got it signed with a silver pen, which at first, like, I really wanted to get it with a silver pen, the silver metallic. I thought it kind of matched with the Beskar steel kind of coloring, but it didn't really come out the best. But then once it did finally dry, I think it actually looks pretty cool. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. He just whacked on the quote, "This is the way," even though I guess he technically doesn't say it right because he doesn't have a speaking part. Although I didn't actually ask him. I would have been interested to know, does he still have to deliver the lines so the like the rest of the actors can meet their cues and things like that? I assume he does. Not 100% sure though. But yeah, he is a super cool, super awesome dude. I mean, he is the grandson of frickin' John Wayne, if you didn't know. How cool is that? I'm a big Western fan, so that was like a cool little added thing to me. We chatted with him for quite a while, to be honest. He threw in a couple of little freebies, pardon me. Don't really know what Lady Lancers is, but he even kind of signed it there with BW. He also gave us this patch, which is pretty cool, which has Brendan Wayne on it. And yeah, we mentioned to him, or like we asked him, are you heading out to Japan? Do you want to go to Japan? And he was like, like, even if I'm not invited, I'm probably going to go. That's how much he wants to be there for Star Wars Celebration in Japan. Because we mentioned we were going, and I sort of said, yeah, Star Wars, anime, two massive passions of mine. So to, like, you know, meld those together. And he was like, oh man, you're going to be in your element. He was like, you're going to have such a cool time. I wasn't sure if he had been to Japan, but he was kind of recommending some things to us. I think he said like his buddy had been there, and then he literally went on his phone and he must have spent about 5 minutes trying to look for some pictures, I think, of this place called the Outpost. He was like, it's a little bar that has so many cool like Star Wars memorabilia bits, and he couldn't find it. And we were just kind of standing there, and like his manager was almost, he wasn't like motioning to him to hurry up, but he was just kind of like kind of looking across to the crowd now and again. I mean, his queue wasn't super duper long at that point, to be honest, so I don't think it was too bad. But I did still feel a little bit bad for the people behind me, because it's like, it's not me taking up the time. Brendan wants to show us something. And in the end, he couldn't even find the pictures. It was, he just showed us some like behind the scenes thing of them having fun, like him and Lateef doing these kind of sexy poses in the Mando outfit. And he said he actually got in trouble from Disney from it, because he said that's not kind of the image we need to portray for the Mandalorian. And he was like, no, we do for the, especially for the like female audience who are in love with Mando. As I said, just a really cool guy, and I hope he does get out to Japan, because I'd love to meet him again. I would say the exact same for Emily Swallow, who is of course the armorer. We asked her the exact same question, and she said, I really want to go. I hope they do bring me. So again, hope to see her in Japan as well. Very cool, very sweet, love the armorer. Once again, I decided to go with the metallic paint pen, this time of course gold, to essentially match the armorer's helmet. And once again, I was like, maybe I've not made a great choice. It's a little bit dark. And then once it dried, it looks certainly a lot better. But again, I'm not so sure I've made the correct choice in the end. I mean, it is what it is. You can still see it nicely in the light, especially when you're staring at it. But maybe white or even orange would have popped a little bit more. Again, let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. There was a crazy moment in the show when we were queuing up for Emily that like a few tables down, maybe like say 7 or 8 tables down, it's where Chris Sabat, Colleen Clinkenbeard, there was one other, Luci Christian and Dave Mitchell. It was kind of their row. The like boards behind them came down. It was kind of scary. You heard like this gasp. I was like, Jesus, like, because I saw this from the distance. And then like because we were in the queue of Emily at the time, and then maybe 5, not even 10 minutes later, the boards next to her, so it's where Tate Fletcher, who is the guy who's in the Paz Vizsla's outfit, if you didn't know, Jon Favreau, of course, does the voice. It came down, and it like came down on top of him, because he's such a big guy. He just pretty much kind of held his. He was standing, and he just kind of held his arm and his forearm up, and like just held it up. But yeah, they had to like pull all the guests out and then like re-secure the boards. And from what we could judge, they were kind of supporting them in the back with pallets of water. But of course, people were then taking the water, and like the distribution of the, like especially if you take all the same water from one pallet, the distribution is off, right? So that was a bit crazy. So we had to wait a little bit longer, but finally got to her. Super cool, super sweet. She loves playing this character. And yeah, again, as I said, hope we get to see her again in Japan. And one guy we will definitely see in Japan is Temuera Morrison. He has already been confirmed, but I was pretty happy he got announced for MCM, because I was like, you know what, I'm actually going to have less to carry now, because I got my Boba Fett Funko Pop signed by him. I said, because like Captain Rex is my guy, and I said to him, I really hope we get to see you portraying Captain Rex a little bit more, because he only did the voice for the flashback in Ahsoka. I'd just love to see, the helmet off, see more of him in live action. And he said, yeah, he loves Captain Rex. He hopes for it as well. I know he'll come back for sure as Boba Fett, but yeah, really hoping we do especially get to see Old Man Rex with a white beard. I think that will be really, really cool. And yeah, again, we spoke about Japan, said we'll see you there. Again, mentioned fan of Star Wars, fan of anime. I actually think it may have been him who said you're going to be really in your element then. And yeah, he said, look, we'll see you out there. Have a great time. He's like, to me, if Samuel L. Jackson, like, he's arguably the coolest person on the planet, which in like retrospect would make him the coolest person in Star Wars. But if you had to say there was someone like a close second, for me, it would definitely be Temuera Morrison. Very, very cool. Was very funny in the Mandalorian panel as well. And yeah, I've actually got a Jango Fett number 1 out of 99 Tops, what were they called? Tops Chrome, I think. They were released during Galaxy's Edge. It was the purple parallel card, and I actually pulled the number 1 out of 99 because they're all numbered, and so I'm thinking I may take that to Japan to get it signed by him as well. I didn't want to do it this time round because I literally spent a fortune on getting all these Funko Pops signed, so yeah, taking a little card to Japan, not so bad. Happy I don't have to take another Funko Pop though. On to the One Piece stuff next then, guys, though having said that, we're going to be mixing in My Hero Academia, Fairy Tail, Black Clover, because the voice actors, if you didn't know from One Piece, have done so many different characters, and yes, I got so many of those different characters signed. Unfortunately for Mike McFarland, who is the voice of Buggy the Clown, well, he does actually have an Ojiro pop now, but it is the baseball OVA one from My Hero Academia. He does, of course, have Master Roshi as well, but he doesn't have Jean from Attack on Titan, and or Ojiro with a hero costume, and that was what I was saying. Like, it's so crazy, especially Jean. The fact that Jean and Reiner, yes, there's the Reiner moment, like Eren meets Reiner moment, Funko Pop, but the fact that Reiner and Jean don't have single Funko Pops in the Attack on Titan line, to me, is absolutely crazy. Two main characters, and they've made characters like Porco, Yelena, Bertold, who still cool characters, don't get me wrong, but it's not Jean, it's definitely not Reiner. And he was like, yep, I honestly can't believe it, but they're coming and he cannot wait. Mike, really cool, of course, you know, he was the ADR on Attack on Titan. He is taking over from Colleen as the ADR from the 7th season of the My Hero Academia dub as well. He's done tons of other shows. I know he's like highly respected in the business, both as a voice actor and as an ADR as well. So yeah, My Hero is definitely in very good hands. It was a pleasure to chat to him. Very, very cool dude. He signed my Buggy Funko Pop. I asked, like I'd said, I'd seen pictures before where you've done like stuff in multicolors, and he said, yeah, no problem. I was like, I really love this kind of joke and this moment that he tells at Marineford, and he was like, he kind of had a little bit of a chuckle and said, yeah, that was pretty cool. And so yeah, we got the quote, how's the Muggy Ball like a robust financial market because it goes boom. I think he like throws the Muggy Ball, if memory serves me right, at Mihawk, and he just kind of deflects it, and that's why he things as it goes boom and it explodes in his face. Yeah, we got blues, reds, purples and greens to match all of the Buggy colors. Very, very cool. Very, very happy with that. And another really, really cool dude. Yes, I know I say the word cool. I've probably said it 10 billion times on this channel, but yeah, I'm not a great orator. I need to get more words, that's for sure. But yeah, Ian Sinclair, who voices Brooke, super, super cool dude. There's that word again. Very funny, very chatty. Again, I was kind of saying, like, to him, to Mike, and to Lucy, that I feel sorry because they voice so many characters, but it's like they don't have so many Funko Pops. And like, I was a fan, I forget the character's name, but I really did enjoy the character that he played in Seraph. He, of course, again, the name escapes me. They look quite similar. The character in Solo Leveling that he plays kind of looks similar to his character in Seraph. I know he has Whis as a Funko Pop, and he was actually telling me that Magna from Black Clover is coming next year, which I actually hadn't heard. I'm normally pretty up to date with the Funko Pop leaks, but yeah, I hadn't heard anything about Magna, so that is pretty cool because I did I should say, because it's not quite back yet. I'm hearing rumors of Black Clover's coming back, but I thoroughly enjoyed that show. It made me laugh so hard. So yeah, hoping we do eventually get Magna. And then of course Brooke, like, he doesn't have so many Funko Pop. Well, there's like 3 Funko Pops. There's this one, there's Bone Kichi, which I think is a little bit, you know, it's very kind of plain. Bone Kichi had the kind of lamest look. Well, lame's a horrible word. Not lame. Weakest, even that's a horrible word. I think you guys know what I'm trying to get at. Not the best look in terms of all the Wano outfits for all of the Straw Hat Pirates. And then, of course, the mega expensive one from, was it New York 2018, I think, the like Soul King Brooke. He said he was quite proud though, because he said it's the second most expensive anime Funko Pop in the market, so he's quite proud of that. I think Vegeta Planet Alia may be number 1, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't really looked at those for quite a long time, but yeah, when he saw my quote choice, he was like, "We'll be samurai," and then he shook my hand because he was like, "That's pretty cool," and I was like, it's like the best quote to go with this pop, in my opinion. I did kind of ask for purple and white, and he didn't. I don't think he really quite paid attention, but it's not too bad. The purple is still pretty cool. The other thing, though, I did pay for a doodle. Some of them were doing like little extra doodles, and I had paid for it, and the only thing I really then got on the side was yo ho 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 ho, or yo ho ho ho. That's awful impression, by the way. So I don't know if that really constitutes as a doodle, but it's still pretty cool to have on the pop. So when I just mentioned Luci, I was referring to the one and only Luci Christian, voice actor of Nami, Ochako from My Hero Academia. I mean, she's done tons of characters, right? Medusa from Soul Eater. Yeah, I'm really forgetting all the rest of them off the top of my head, but tons of characters. Super cool, there's that word again, but also super sweet, lovely person. She's the only one I met at MCM Comic Con this past weekend who I'd met previously. I saw her at Northern Ireland Comic Con back in, I think it was September 2022, if memory serves me right. I got my Ochako Funko Pop signed at that point. I hadn't even started watching One Piece then. It was December 2022 when I started watching One Piece, and I was having this conversation with her, and I was like, and she was like, oh, what point are you at now? And I was like, oh, I'm fully caught up. And she was like, wow, that's like a dedication. I was like, yep, 2023 for me was One Piece, and I completely fell in love with it, and it is now my joint favorite anime. And I was like, I'd been going through Crunchyroll all week to try and find all of these quotes, find the best places, because I'm like, there's so many episodes of One Piece, it's actually really difficult. And she was like, yep, no, I can get it. And I found this quote, and I was like, I really liked it from the Skypiea arc. And she kind of delivered the quote, and she was like, yeah, this one's quite funny. My priorities are life first, then money. Yeah, as I said, she did the quote in the, or did the line in the voice, was very cool. She added the little berry markers on the eyes as well, the orange and blue colorings. I think it just pops really nicely. So I was very happy with that. And yeah, as I said, met Luci before, so knew what to expect. She's just always such a pleasure to chat to. Yeah, super cool and super sweet, as I said. We're going to do the Great Captain Usopp next, voiced by the one and only Sonny Strait. I just find Sonny so talented, so funny. He's an artist as well. If you follow him on social media, you will have seen some of the drawings and things he's done. Just crazy, crazy cool. Speaking of which, I may as well show it already. We have a really cool Usopp doodle here on the side. These weren't free, by the way. They were a little bit extra, but I feel you somewhat got your money's worth, although I forget how much extra they were. It was like 10 or 15 pounds, so maybe you guys might say to me, well, really, was that worth 10 or 15 pounds? In my opinion, though, it's really cool. It adds to the pop. He didn't follow my color schemes, though, but which it wasn't, like, didn't really bother me too much, but he then, like, really apologized. He was like, I'm so sorry, I'm not actually following you. And I was like, dude, no worries, it's cool, I'm just happy to meet you and get these signed. So with Usopp, then we've got Special Attack Tabasco Star. So getting Usopp signed, I mean, I of course had to get his good friend Sniper King signed as well, and I really wanted the first two lines of the song, but I was like, yeah, I don't know if you'll be able to fit them in, so it's cool if it's just the first line. He was like, oh, I think I should be able to, but I'll keep going until I run out of room. So yeah, guys, we did indeed get the first two lines of the song, pardon me. Oh, the wind carries my name to Sniper Island far away. You know what, I actually thought that was pretty decent. Certainly better than some of my other impressions. Let me know what you guys think. I asked him, like, you must have had so much fun with the song. And he was like, yeah, we actually knew. Because the One Piece dub used to be so far behind the sub. I think it's like 30 or something episodes now, which is crazy. They caught up. So he was like, he knew about the song 5 years in advance. And he could not wait to get to it. Said it was so much fun. And it's such a cool pop as well. And yes, again, we do have a doodle on the side here of Sniper King with the red and the yellow. Still so really cool. And I did actually get one more Funko Pop signed by Sonny Strait, Redestro from My Hero Academia. If you guys didn't know, Sonny actually voiced Present Mike in the very first season, but it damaged his voice box, so he had to quit, and then Present Mike was taken over, Dave Trosco, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He took over from season 2 onwards, and then Sonny was able to return as Redestro, and I said that must have been pretty cool after you had to give up Present Mike, and he said, yeah, you know, it's been enjoyable, and he looks forward to kind of playing the characters some more. I went with a quote, this world will change at the hands of Redestro. It's like one of the earlier quotes he says before he has the like big battle with the League of Villains. You guys may see the color up there in the corner. That's what I meant by he was doing things in this kind of different color scheme, or like not following my color scheme. So he actually wrote over the blue. It's not too bad though. I don't think you can really notice it super duper well. Yeah, I went with dark green and the light green. I thought the color scheme kind of matched his shirt and tie. And yes, we did get another sketch here on the side. Maybe not as cool as the Sniper King or the Usopp ones, but still cool nonetheless. And I just mentioned Tomoe Shigaraki, so we may as well do this voice actor next, guys. The great Eric Vale. My favourite voice actor, to be honest. I don't know why. I just like a lot of the characters he's played. I think Shigaraki is an awesome villain. Sanji from One Piece is my favourite character in that show. Loved Yuki in Fruits Basket. He's just played so many different cool characters, so I think that is why he is my favourite. So for Shigaraki, I decided to go with a chase. Normally I wouldn't do that because the sticker is a little bit invasive and it gives less space for the quote and the signature. But to be perfectly honest, I actually own this chase twice. So when this released, so I pre-ordered this from DJ Collectibles, who we do have an affiliate link with in the description below, by the way. If you make a purchase using that affiliate link, you will be directly supporting the channel, to which I will be eternally grateful. I promise that's the only cheap plug in this video. But yeah, I pre-ordered this from them, the Entertainment Earth exclusive one, and then the pop released on Funko Europe whenever it was. I think sometime, was it last year? Was it 2022? I really forget the kind of release dates with things, but yeah, I decided to just buy two when it dropped on Funko Europe, and I got the common and the chase combo, which was very, very cool. And then eventually when the DJ Collectibles order came in, I actually got the chase, and I was like, man, that's just crazy. So I was like, you know what? Let's get this one signed with the chase. So I decided to go with the quote, "The only thing I want is to destroy," in the blue and the red. That wasn't the only Shigaraki Funko Pop I got signed this past weekend. We also have the 2-pack of Shigaraki and Overhaul. I previously got this signed by Kellen Goff, the voice of Overhaul, back at MCM Comic Con last May, with the quote, "A goal with no plan is called a delusion." If you guys didn't know, that is actually the original Japanese sub wording, not the dubbed wording. They actually changed it. I honestly don't know why, because it can't really be for mouth flap reasons, because Overhaul is wearing a mask. You know, Kellen was the one who actually told me that, because I hadn't watched the show. I literally found the quotes online, and I was like, oh, okay, I kind of like this one better. And he was like, yeah, I think it's really cool as well. And then he proceeded to actually just write it there. And I, of course, wanted a matching quote. It's from when the two characters first meet, episode 1 of season 4, maybe somewhere around that time period anyway, when the two characters came together. And I really kind of wanted a matching quote from their conversation. So with Shigaraki, I decided to go with, "I'm the next leader. I'll turn Hero Society to dust." I think they still fit fairly well, and very happy to finally complete a 2-pack, because I haven't got many completed. And I actually got quite a few characters signed by Eric Vale, but Trunks isn't one of them. I mentioned it earlier, right? Mike McFarland plays Master Roshi. You guys didn't actually see me have one of those signed. Whis is voiced by Ian Sinclair. Sonny Strait actually voices Krillin. Guys, I have not watched Dragon Ball Z since I was in school, and that was a long time ago, let me tell you that. It's definitely on my agenda to go back and watch it, but I was like, you know what, I don't really want to get into collecting Dragon Ball Z right now. It's a huge collection. You know, I know My Hero Academia is already huge, One Piece continues to grow, Naruto continues to grow. I'm sure it's going to happen eventually, especially when I do, you know, get round to watching Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball, the whole, like, universe. But for now, I was like, you know what, I'm already spending a fortune. The fact that I haven't really watched it, let's just, you know, let's not bother going too crazy with the Dragon Ball Funko Pops at this point in time. You know, hopefully these guys will eventually come back once I have watched it, and we can maybe add some of those to the signed collection. But I did get Nishiki from Tokyo Ghoul. This is, of course, from Tokyo Ghoul Re. I went with a quote, "Sorry, old friend, but time's up," when he first kind of meets Kaneki, or who's in the name forgets it, Heiser's body, isn't it? I don't really want to say too much if you guys haven't seen Tokyo Ghoul Re. What did I just say there? Though I don't know who the lady was. At first I maybe thought it was his wife, because I knew she was there with him, but she looked very different to the pictures I'd seen online. Maybe it was his manager or something. But she mentioned that they have a like, Eric's part of a comedy troupe, and she said, if you're a fan of Tokyo Ghoul, just to let you know, like, Austin Tyndall is a part of the comedy troupe as well, pardon me. So I figured I'd just share those with you guys. They gave me like a free whoopee cushion, and this, I don't know, sticker, coaster, whatever it is. It's called Folding Chairs, sketch comedy. I think they have a website somewhere. Yep, there it is. It's on the other side of the whoopee cushion, thefoldingchairs.com, if you guys did want to check it out. There's then Ferret Bathory from Seraph of the End. I went with the quote, "Come on, don't you want to play?" I kind of wish I'd maybe asked for play to be in red as opposed to white, but I still think the colours pop with the white quote and the red signature. I really enjoyed Seraph, like, 2 seasons. Well, I think they actually said it was 1 season, but they just split it into two. What was it, like 24 episodes maybe? Was it 12 and 12? I think something like that. And then it's just been gone for, I feel like 8 or 9 years, something like that. Whereas the manga's just carried on. I think it's like so far in the story, but no word that the anime is ever going to return. From what a lot of people told me, the manga didn't do too well. Like, it did enough for it to like carry on, but not enough for them to like continue making the anime. Something like that. That's what I heard. You never really know what's true, but I really enjoyed it. And Eric said, yeah, he doesn't know why it didn't continue. He said he really enjoyed playing the character. You know, until he got to Shigaraki, he hadn't really done a super duper amount of villains, I suppose. And he said, I was like, yeah, he's kind of like this cool but creepy character. And he said, oh yeah, he's hella creepy. And said, yeah, he just would love to go back to it if, you know, Seraph does ever come back. But unfortunately, you know, I'm not crossing my fingers. I don't think it'll be back, but who knows? I mentioned Yuki from Fruits Basket earlier, guys, so I did get my Yuki with Rat Funko Pop signed. Of course, I had to go with Stupid Cat. It's probably the best quote, or maybe not the best quote, but it's like a, it's probably the most used quote, the most used words, I would say, by Yuki in the entire series. I freaking love Fruits Basket. I'd been watching all these loud animes at the time, My Hero, Demon Slayer, with all these shouty characters. And yes, I know Kyo can be shouty himself, but I just felt I needed this. Like, I hadn't heard of like slice of life. I didn't even know what that meant in terms of like a genre back when I watched Fruits Basket. Discovered it, like, I think I watched it when season 3 was finishing and everyone was raving about it at the time. I know on my anime list it went up to like that 3rd season at the time was like the 4th or 5th highest rated anime of all time, and I was like, man, I should check this show out. I just fell in love with it. I thought great story, great writing, great characters, great voice acting. Yeah, just really enjoyed it. Very different to all your kind of big action packed or horror animes. As I said, shouty characters, yes, Kyo notwithstanding. But yeah, loved it, super enjoyed it. And when I was looking for some of the quotes and things, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go with Stupid Cat anyway, I just really wanted to watch it again, and I think I probably will, because it's only, if memory serves me right, around 50 or so episodes. On to the man himself then, guys. I mentioned it earlier, Sanji is my favourite character in One Piece. I freaking love that love-struck cook, and so I'm really happy to get a signed Sanji into the collection. Though I have actually just noticed, I didn't notice this at the time, Eric Vale actually hasn't quite given me the full quote, to be honest. So we've got on here, I heard the sound of a woman's tears falling. So I think I heard the heartbreaking sound of a woman's tears. He added the falling, said, do you want that as the full quote? And I was like, oh yeah, cool. Because I think I was rushing on Crunchyroll to kind of find the scene. It's during the Punk Hazard arc. And yeah, I remember the like heartbreaking is in there in the English dub, but he's actually not got it here on my quote. It's not so bad. The quote as it is still really cool. I'd obviously miss the falling. I'd have to go back and watch it to see if falling's in there, but it kind of makes sense. Just ending it with tears is a bit weird, but I heard the sound of a woman's tears falling. I actually think that might be the original sub. I don't think heartbreaking is in there, so, you know, maybe Eric didn't kind of remember it, even though I'd written it down like on the piece of paper, heartbreaking. But I'm still really happy with that. Went with the orange and the yellow. I thought it was a really good color combination, especially because we've got a bit of a Diablo Jombe going on there in the pop. But yeah, Eric himself, I'm gonna say it again, guys, super cool dude. Chat with him a lot, was talking to him about Shangri-La Frontier, which was his the most recent anime he was in, if you don't kind of like count One Piece. I asked him if he was a gamer, because he, like, the way he delivered the like gaming references and stuff, it really sounded like he knew what he was talking about. And he was like, to be honest, I'm a casual gamer. He said he just plays on his Xbox, but tends to be more like first person shooters, Battlefield and things like that. He said there were a lot of terms that he did know, but several that he didn't know, and he had to ask the ADR, what on earth is this? There was one term he was like, I had no idea what it was. I can't remember, what was it, pogging? I think that's the one he said. I was like, yeah, I'm not really sure what that means myself. I didn't say that to him, but in my head I was like, what on earth is pogging? Does someone know? If so, drop a comment down below. I think it was pogging anyway. But he said, yeah, it was like just research, and having a great ADR kind of allowed him to deliver that. And yeah, I was like, you know, I don't think the show is going to maybe reach the levels of a One Piece or something like that, but I was like, it's just such a fun show. I really enjoyed it. And he was like, thanks, man. Yeah, it's like what he wants to do. He just wants to have fun and deliver these like animes where people are going to have a good time. He said he's not necessarily looking to be like an award winner or do all this like, you know, too crazy stuff. He just wants to have fun and wants people watching him to have fun as well. So yeah, it was a delight meeting him. As I said, he's my favorite voice actor, so yeah, dream come true. And another dream to come true was to meet this guy right here, the one and only, the legendary Chris Sabat, guys. It was so cool meeting him. He had, without question, the longest, most busiest line all weekend. He was expensive, not gonna lie. Like, for quotes, if you picked the quote, he was literally, again, I say he was charging, maybe it was his management, maybe it was MCM Con, again, a combination of everyone, but it was £36 for your own quote, or £24 if he picked the quote. And that was on top of his costs, which was around £63 if memory serves me right. So yeah, it took like £99 to £100 to get each of his Funko Pops signed, which I did think was a little bit crazy. At the same time, I was like, you know what? He is the voice acting legend, right? Voiced so many characters, so many popular characters, including Roanoa Zoro with the Nothing Happened pop. This was the funny thing. I was kind of like, well, like, if I'm getting this pop signed, surely he's gonna write Nothing Happened, right? Like, can I save myself like £12 here? But I didn't really want to chance it, so I just paid for it, and he wrote no. Because I was like, yeah, if you get it, we were like joking in the queue, if you get him to sign this, and then he writes like Enma or something like that, you're like, really? But yeah, went with the colour schemes, the red and the green. Mentioned to him, of course, you don't really have to decorate anyone's pops anymore now that we have this one, and he kind of like chuckled and said, yeah, it's definitely going to save a little bit of time. So I mentioned earlier I didn't get any of those Dragon Ball Z characters signed, but I did get Majin Vegeta, guys. I bought the over 9000.com exclusive as soon as Chris Sabat was announced. I just figured, like, Vegeta is such a popular character in all of anime, and I was like, will Chris Sabat actually come back to the UK? If he does, it probably won't be for a long. I mean, to be perfectly honest, none of these guys are probably going to come back for a few years anyway, so yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what I was thinking in the beginning part, but I liked the look of this pop. I got it for a good price. So yeah, decided to get it signed with the green pen to match the eyes. Just didn't get the quote because, as I said, need to really go back and watch Dragon Ball. I also got my Kuwabara from Yu Hakusho signed. Really enjoy this anime. I started watching it towards the end of last year and then finished it kind of around the beginning of this year. Legendary anime. It definitely inspired lots of things. You know, Hunter x Hunter for sure. Well, if you guys didn't know, the creator of Hunter x Hunter is also the creator of Yu Hakusho, so of course he kind of inspired his own show, his own manga, but it definitely had inspirations on the likes of Bleach, Jujutsu Kaisen, Naruto. It was like the first anime, the first manga to really, you know, bring out the tournament style, I think, and, you know, it's really highly regarded. I enjoyed it a lot, and Kuwabara, one of the earliest performances, certainly, of Chris Sabat, to go with the likes of Vegeta and Piccolo from Dragon Ball. He even, like, went with, like, different, well, not different color designs, because I'd kind of asked for this, but he then wrote, like, the character names as well, and put some in different colors. Like, he gave me the full spectrum for Kuwabara here. Spirit Sword in the orange, the signature in the yellow, and the character name in the blue. I also got Alex Armstrong from Fullmetal Alchemist signed. I managed to pick it up for a really, really good price considering it has the GameStop only exclusive sticker. I got it from Be More Geek. They had it online for 70 something pounds for several weeks, and I was like, it's maybe like 10 to 15 pounds more than I wanted to pay, because I'd already paid for, I think, 7 autographs for Chris Sabat, because my other intention was to get a bunch of the actors to sign the My Hero Academia, the UA High School, and then I was like, it's just a lot to carry, especially with the other item that I'll show you guys in just a few more minutes, the One Piece, as I said. I had like 2 packs with me as well. The rest were all flattened, so it was just a lot to carry, and it was going to cost me a lot more as well if I get a whole bunch of people to sign the UA High as well. So I'd actually seen this Alex Armstrong on Be More Geek, 70 odd quid, as I said, 10, 15 pounds less is what I wanted to pay for it. And then as the weeks went by, they actually dropped it down to, I think, 50 or maybe like 47, 48. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to grab this and I'm going to get this signed instead of UA High. I'd seen a picture of him signed with this quote. I saw it online in Google and I said, is this something like you could do? Don't worry if like I'm asking too much, you could just do the first line or the second line. And he was like, no problem. Yeah, I've got you covered. So yeah, we got the like yellow sparkles. Destruction Creation are the sides of the same coin. And then he signed it and he was like, oh, I think I added the like second line on that one as well, didn't I? And he was like, I'm going to have to write it on the side. And I was like, yeah, no problem, dude. So we have You Must Destroy to Create with another couple of sparkles. And I mentioned earlier, I absolutely love Black Clover. Such a funny show. So I, of course, had to get my Yami Funko Pop signed. And again, he gave me this different spectrum of colors, dark purple, pink, white, and even gold. I don't know if you guys can quite see the character name there. Maybe a bit more in the light. Yami's like, just so cool. He was such a sweet guy. We talked about like literally every single anime. I just realized I haven't really sort of spoken about my interactions with him, but each pop he signed, we spoke about the anime, and he was just blessed to be in this business that he loves, you know, and all these different characters, you know, having like the job of Zoro for so long. He said it's just crazy. And we spoke about Black Clover and yeah, like how funny I found the show, and he was like, oh yeah, like the whole stuff on the toilet and all that, and I was like, that, but definitely like the one thing that really made me laugh was once Grey kind of reveals her like real self, and Yami goes up to her and he's like, who are you again? And he kind of chuckled and said, yeah, that stuff was like really funny. But yeah, in terms of the quote, then I, of course, like, well, I say of course, with Black Clover, I've decided to go with all the like shout outs of the special moves. So we have Dark Magic, Dark Cloaked, Dimension Slash. And let's finish up the Chris Sabat stuff with All Might from My Hero Academia. I decided to get the Weaken One sign because I really like the quote, now it's your turn. Just so kind of poetic, and the passing of the torch in the show. He even said to me when he was looking at the color schemes, he was like, I think you've seen like a lot of stuff online that I do, because these are the colors that I would typically pick. And I was like, for sure, I did a lot of research, and this just looked right to me anyway. The blue eyes to have the quote and the yellow for the signature. Was a bit annoyed not to have, like, I thought I maybe had the box lunch exclusive one, because as I said before, I do hate that special edition sticker, and the fact that it's got the glow sticker as well. We've got 2 on there. It's a little bit intrusive, but he made it fit well. It's not like it was a super long quote either. And to be honest, the yellow kind of goes with the glow in the dark, and it kind of wraps around the special edition sticker nicely enough. So yeah, I wasn't too bothered. So we got one more voice actor, guys, but 5 signed Funko Pops from her because she's awesome. She's prolific. I am, of course, talking about the one and only Colleen Clinkenbeard. So sticking with My Hero Academia here, we have Momo Yaoyorozu. I decided to go with a quote, together as one, we'll take down this villain. I feel it was like one of the better quotes she said. in season 6. So she decided to, I think she picked the color scheme herself here with the yellow and the red. If you guys didn't know, Colleen was the ADR for the first 6 seasons of the My Hero Academia dub. It's now been taken over, as I mentioned earlier, by Mike McFarland. Don't know why. I didn't really want to bring it up because, you know, it could be for reasons that weren't like within her control potentially, or maybe it's just she wanted to step back, like a personal decision, so I didn't really want to ask that. And we're almost mirroring Chris Sabat here because we have My Hero Academia. Now we're on to Black Clover. But these guys are like, they're in the same shows together, which I think is very, very cool. I know some people don't like it. It's like, oh, you know, it's like a monopoly on the voice acting, yada, yada, yada. But for me, it's so cool that the Straw Hats are like all together in My Hero Academia. They're all together in Black Clover. You know, a lot of them are in Fullmetal Alchemist. I personally find it really, really cool. So yes, we do have Charlotte here from Black Clover. I love the fact as well that Charlotte is secretly in love with Yami. But I didn't decide to go with any quotes like that. As I said, with Black Clover, I wanted to go with the call outs for their moves, you know, their magic powers. So here we have Briar Creation Magic, Corpse Hunting Briar Trees in the light green and the light blue to match the color schemes of the character. And I just mentioned Fullmetal Alchemist, here we have Riza Hawkeye. Although this Funko Pop is actually from Brotherhood, Alex Armstrong was from the original Fullmetal Alchemist. Do wonder if we'll get an updated Alex Armstrong at one point, especially considering that pop is now vaulted, it's rare, and it can be quite hard to get. But we're on Riza Hawkeye, we've already done Alex Armstrong. I decided to go with a quote, "It's amazing how uncanny his timing is." I couldn't really decide the color schemes on this one, so I went with yellow and blue to like kind of match the hair and the outfit. The crazy thing was I was watching, I don't think this was on Crunchyroll, maybe it was. I feel I was watching it on Netflix though. I was kind of going through some, no, you know what? I couldn't find some of the good quotes, and then I did actually manage to find a video on YouTube which had all of like Riza's dub moments, and that was really cool because it then made me realize that Riza actually had some pretty darn awesome lines in that show, and I said the same to Colleen and she was like, she really did. And I just had to make a choice, and in the end, although this was maybe not necessarily the most awesome one or even the most heartbreaking one, of course she mentions about the stuff on her back like burning off or talking about the war. Those were like some pretty like deep quotes that I think could have been really cool. But the fact she's holding her dog, the name escapes me, I know it begins with H, it's in this scene after Roy Mustang calls. It's like she needed to hear his voice and whatever, she hangs up the phone and that's when she says the quote, "It's amazing how uncanny his timing is," and she's stroking the dog. I just thought it was pretty fitting, and it's still a pretty cool quote, you know, especially in the relationship between Riza and Roy Mustang. And another character that Colleen voiced that I really, really like, I think she's such an awesome character, is Urza Scarlet from Fairy Tail. I decided to go with a quote, "You don't die for your friends, you live for them." I think it's such a powerful quote. I think she had quite a few, to be perfectly honest. I actually still need to go back and watch a lot of Fairy Tail. I definitely didn't finish it. The 100 Years Quest is coming. Colleen was like, "Oh yeah, we're so excited it's coming back." And I was like, "Oh, does that mean you guys have like got confirmation you're able to return?" And she was like, "Oh no, we don't know yet." I was like, kind of got me just a little bit excited there. I think it would be so weird if they don't get the OG voice cast. You know, if Todd Haberkorn is not voicing Natsu and Jeremy Lee is not voicing Lucy, and again, Colleen is not voicing Urza, I'm thinking, it's a little bit of a failure. I know you may talk about like it could be passed to the younger generation and things like that, but I think I want the OG voice cast if I'm being honest. And last but certainly not least, we have the man himself, the future king of the pirates, Monkey D. Luffy. I decided to go with a quote, "I still have my crew." I think it's a lovely, kind of beautiful quote. It says a lot about Luffy, how much, you know, he loves his crew and wants to be with them after the death of his brother, of course. I know it's a bit of a spoiler, but come on, guys, that was like 500 odd episodes ago, no. I like, there's so many Luffys to choose from. If like money was no object for me, I would have got Gear 2, Gear 4 and Gear 5 signed as well, but I just decided to go with this one. The reason I didn't go with the very famous quote, "I'll be king of the pirates," you guys will literally find out in just a few seconds more with the next and final Funko Pop. There are a few words on Colleen. Firstly, you guys will see I do have the little straw hat there. I actually Traded her for a yellow pen. Hers had run out, and I said, oh, I've got like a spare here. And she was like, oh, I'll give you a little straw hat. And I was like, yep, sweet, I'll definitely take it. So that's very cool. It kind of fits quite nicely there onto her signature. But yeah, she again, I know I've said this for literally every guest, but she was so cool, very sweet. You know, again, we were talking about each and every anime. I mentioned already with Riza how she agreed. You know, that Riza had so many great lines. How Monkey D. Luffy has been the job of a lifetime. You know, Urza we were talking about, and my feelings with Urza are like, she's so badass, but she has this vulnerability, and she agreed and said that's for her why the character has become so popular. Yeah, it was just super nice, super cool, super sweet lady to talk to, massively talented as well. I thanked her for everything she'd done as an ADR on My Hero Academia, and she said, oh, you're welcome, honey, thank you for the kind words, things like that. And I then actually did gift her the very same t-shirt I'm wearing, which was a Burger King One Piece collaboration they did in France at the beginning of this year. I was actually visiting extended family there, ate a whole bunch of Burger King, I should say, just to get a few different t-shirts, gifted her one, and she was like, get the hell out, this is so freaking cool. She's like, I want to open it, but I don't, because I just want to pack it and obviously take it home. But she was like, my son and my husband are going to get a kick out of this. I showed her like the back as well. And she was like, oh, this just looks so cool, thank you so much. And I was like, yeah, no problem. I actually wish I had loads, like almost one for each guest. But yeah, that would have entailed me eating a ton of Burger King. Here it is then, guys, what I have designated the new One Piece in my collection. Are you ready? Check this out. Luffy with the Going Merry, signed by the 5 OG Straw Hat crew members with their pledges. Is pledges the right word? I'm pretty sure it is. When they're heading to the Grand Line, they put their feet on the barrel. It was in the One Piece live action on Netflix as well, and they kind of, as I said, say their pledges or their dreams, you know, what they are going to achieve. So we've got Nami, I'll draw a map of the entire world, signed of course by Luci Christian. We've got the world's best swordsman, signed by Chris Sabat. For Zoro, there is the quote right in the middle, I'm going to be king of the pirates, Luffy. Of course, Colleen Clinkenbeard. Bottom left, find the all blue, Eric Vale, who is of course Sanji, and then over there on the right, to be a brave warrior of the sea, signed by Sonny Strait, who is of course Usopp, and we do have that little sketch down there as well, which is so cool. I think this came out even better than I had imagined. I actually went to see Chris Sabat first and foremost, and I was like, yeah, I'm trying to like hopefully get it so we can fit all of you guys in, and he said, hey man, I've seen it work before, and yeah, this just looks so freaking cool. And I do actually have space for some of the other characters. I kind of felt bad for like Ian Sinclair, because I freaking love Brook. He's so funny. Definitely one of my favorite characters throughout all of One Piece. Like, my favorites are, I mentioned already, are Sanji. Second is Trafalgar Law. And then third is almost like everybody else. I kind of find it really hard to try and give a top 10, because the show has so many different, awesome, funny, great characters. But Brook didn't ride the Going Merry. Going Merry sank before Brook was on board. Again, spoilers, but I'm pretty sure that was like 700 odd episodes ago, so do forgive me there. But for sure there is space for Brina Palencia, who is the voice of Chopper. There's space for Stephanie Young, who is the voice of Nico Robin. And although he technically wasn't a Straw Hat crew member, he did still sail the ship, and I am of course talking about Frankie, who was voiced by Patrick Seitz, or who is voiced by Patrick Seitz. So I feel there's a bit of room for those three characters if I did decide to add them on eventually. But yeah, even as it is now, I freaking love it. I think it looks beautiful. Let me know what you guys think. And there we go, guys. That is my entire signed Funko Pop haul from MCM Comic Con London. 34 signed Funko Pops now into the signed collection. 38 signatures total, because of course the Going Merry has 5 different signatures, and room to add to it later if I so choose, or well, more if the voice actors for Chopper Frankie and Robin do eventually come over. Fingers crossed they do. I would love to meet them, and I think it could look even cooler than it does now. But yeah, guys, it's time to wrap this video up. So first and foremost, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend with me here on the Geek Lounge. It is very much appreciated, and I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If so, be sure to give us a thumbs up. And if you went to MCM Comic Con London, let me know in the comments section below. What did you guys do? Who did you meet? What did you get signed? And as always, we've got plenty more content on the way for you guys. The usual Funko, Lego, statues, figures, and TCGs are all incoming, though I do have one more MCM Comic Con video planned for this coming Friday, guys. My review of the con. But before we get to that, we have the latest WrestleCrate UK subscription mystery box to open up, the April box, which will be coming in tomorrow's video. So if you're a fan of wrestling, make sure you stay tuned for that. There's even more this week, guys. Tons of videos we've actually got this week, because on Saturday, I'll be catching up with my Funko Pop parcels. I've kind of been neglecting them a little bit. They've been building up over the past week or two, so we need to get into those and unbox and add them into the collection as well. So make sure you stay tuned for all of that and much, much more. What is the easiest way to stay tuned, you ask? You already know. Subscribe. Hit click, smash that subscribe button and enable those notifications so you don't miss out on any of that future content. Guys, thanks again for watching today's video, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace out, nerds.